In this video, I'm going to show you the best electronic defense. Wait, hold on. Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you the best electronic defense I've found against harmful irritants while you're on the go. What's up, guys? My name is Juan Bunsel, and this channel is all about the mindset and the knowledge you need to get ahead in life. And sometimes getting ahead in life means getting ahead in your health. The company called FB Pure Air reached out to me about their FB MASK product. This unit really helped me clean my air as Southern California was gripped in fires and coronavirus outbreak. One of the key things about their products is that they require no maintenance. These are so much better than other products I've seen in the market, especially the ones that are coming from overseas, because their product quality is top notch and believe me, if I have to stay outside somewhere, let's say if I have to go to a hotel, I'm most definitely taking the FB mask with me, because this guy, as you'll see, has so many uses in so many situations. Cleaning household air has been a passion of mine for a very long time. Therefore, I have tried many different products. I've tried in-home purifiers. I have an IQ Air myself right now that works great. I've also tried cheaper products. I've tried other ion generators. I've always found that other products tend to have a lot more maintenance and their ion levels are always too low. The FB mask is a new product. However, its predecessors have been around since the 90s. In fact, the predecessors of this technology have been reviewed by Oprah and by NBC. One of their competitor products I tried worked fine. It actually did the job. I actually took it to China. And so my wife and I actually wore those inside the plane and during our trip in China because there was so much pollution. And it did a good job. However, I had to replace batteries in that unit, and the ion output was 2 million ions per cubic centimeter. Now compare that to the FB mask's 50 million ions per cubic centimeter. There's just no comparison. Wearing this device is like having an invisible force field around your breathing space that keeps particles that you don't want outside of your breathing area. The FB mask generates a patented cold plasma ionized wind at 75 feet per minute without a fan, which charges floating particles in your breathing zone and then electrostatically repels them away, creating a particle-free zone for toxic pollutants and contaminants in your breathing area. This cold plasma wind destroys some contaminants by electron impact decomposition, while other particles are propelled away from you by the ionized wind. The particles that are forced away from you are then deposited onto the floor and other surfaces away from you. The FB mask's patented cold plasma ionized wind is different from an open field Cotterell type particle precipitator, which is an electrostatic precipitator that removes dust particles by attracting them to charged grids and wires. These open field air purifiers deposit pollutants and viruses on you as you are around these devices. They also produce very little ionized airflow and require a conductive neck cord, which makes your body the collector of these particles, not the floor. This device, as small as it is, can tackle viruses, dust, mold spores, pollen, smoke, fumes, odors, smog, allergens, pretty much anything and everything that is floating around in your air that's not air is going to be affected by this. No longer are the days when only people with cat allergies are wearing these devices. Trust me, this device in 2020 and in 2021 is a must-have. You know, not all particles are created equally. Some particles just give you a little bit of a runny nose, some irritate your eyes, some make you sneeze, some make you itch, and on the serious side, some can even give you headaches and migraines. For example, mold spores. If you're in a house with mold and you're smelling that stuff, well, that's really something that can affect your health quite a bit. One of the dangers of the current pandemic is that people don't understand how much viral load is actually out there. Let's say somebody's infected and they cough and they touch something. Well, that surface is now contaminated, and if you touch that surface, guess what? You're going to get the same contamination on your hand. But when that happens, we're really talking about a couple of thousand, a couple of hundred particles. But when somebody's speaking, when they breathe loudly, or when they sneeze or cough, we are talking about a much higher viral load. Worldwide, the coronavirus cases have been going up drastically. Unfortunately, America is the top of this list, both in terms of total cases and total death. Second runner-up seems to be India at this point, and Brazil, Russia, and France are next on the list with multi-millions of their own total cases. Some countries have done great. Countries like Thailand have lower total cases than many other countries. With the government's trying to figure out what to do, with everybody having their own opinions about what should be done, it is more important than ever to take responsibility for yourself and your family. Social distancing helps. Wearing a mask helps. So how do you decrease contaminants in your environment? Well, we use chemical products like sanitizers. We use masks to make sure that whatever is in us doesn't end up in the environment. And we can use devices like these to actually get rid of particles in our own breathing space. You put on a product like this around your neck to make sure that particles coming towards you are either eradicated or propelled away. And when you combine it with a mask, it's going to be really hard to get through this. So here's the cool part. This little guy is rechargeable. There are no batteries to deal with. That is so awesome. One charge runs for 28 hours. And that means if you're going around the world in an airplane, guess what? This thing is going to run the whole time you're wearing it. But do you remember airplanes when you sat around in an airplane? How did you feel when there were tons and tons of people in every single row? They were all eating, they were all making noises, and some were coughing. The air felt a bit thick, didn't it? It didn't feel or smell fresh. The FB mask is one of those products that can actually make a difference in the quality of the air when you're sitting in an airplane. Even if there was no coronavirus, I would still use this product in an airplane because I want to have fresh air when I'm sitting there for a long period of time. So if you're a traveler, guess what? This, in my opinion, is a must-have. Remember that old device I used to use which took batteries? Well, even that device with only 2 million ions per cubic centimeter was able to make sure that my eyes would not water while I was in Beijing and Shanghai. And believe me, there was so much smog that the tour guide had to tell us to come back another day because we couldn't actually see the buildings. And while other people were sort of rubbing their eyes and getting watery eyes, we were okay. I mean, you could feel it a bit, but it was definitely cutting out a lot of it. And that was only 2 million ions per cubic centimeter. This little guy does 50 million ions per cubic centimeter. I mean, it's like having 25 of those things around my neck. I have no idea what kind of magic they use to make this thing, but it really works. The output from this device can impact any particle that is 0.04 microns or above. As an example, COVID-19 is 0.125 microns, which is much larger, and mold is 3 to 100 microns, which is even larger than that. It's important to note that what you're really doing is lessening the concentration of particles in your airspace, so the probability of you getting sick is much less. But keep in mind, the effect is not 100%, so you must always take precautions like wearing a mask and keeping your distance. Anything and everything that can float in your air can be treated by the same exact device the same exact way. For example, if someone smokes in the household, well, this little device can make sure that your air is as clean as possible. And remember, this product is doing all this with no medication, no chemicals, and no side effects. It's inexpensive and easy to maintain. It's a one-time cost, and then it's free to use forever because there's literally nothing to replace. It's also very fast acting because it's got such a great ion output, and it works both ways. It could be worn by a person who is not sick, and it could be worn by a person who is sick to make sure that both of them are protected. A set of these devices for a household could make sure if somebody gets sick that they keep their particles to themselves and everybody else has a cleaner air to breathe. Of course, if somebody gets sick in the household, you must still quarantine and make sure that you do not interact with them directly. And I personally think during 2020 and 2021, these type of products are essential nowadays to make sure that our families remain healthy. Alright guys, hopefully you learned something new today. And as always, I'll see you next time.